everyone who's joining. You've just interrupted Ariel just about to start a rant, so we thought we'd press record sooner rather than later because all the Met Gala emails have just started to arrive into everybody's inbox.
Rant on.
Go
Media
for it.
alert.
Although I'd rather
I'm alerted, properly alerted.
Should I get into it?
Yeah,
Yes.
go for
Well,
it.
let me preface it with this. This isn't just my unadulterated personal opinion. When I was in New York, I met with 2 different PR people and I asked them this question. Does this
Stop it.
celebrity coverage stuff actually move the needle in any way? And they said surprisingly yes. I was like, what do you mean? What happens? They're like, coverage. I was like, okay. So not most watch blogs, because that's not really why people read about watches, but there's like, I don't know, fashion media, general media that apparently is picking up on this. I don't know how it translates to sales, but there appears to be some type of media out there covering it, and that is considered a success. I do contrast that with our distinct feeling of utter apathy towards it. I would almost rather not know about it. And because I think we know the background, and this is what really irritates me. It is so disingenuous how it's presented. It isn't like successful celebrity who can choose what they want to wear decided to go out and buy this with their own money so they could show off at this, I don't know, adult child's party, the Met Gala. I don't even know what it is. I really have no idea. I know it's at an art museum. Is it about art? I don't know. So that or the Oscars or whatever it is, these watches are effectively placed, often with no money, sometimes with money. But this isn't like, oh, so and so went to the store and bought themselves that watch and that jewelry and decided to wear it. Like, that's not what's happening. So the actual newsworthiness of this is so limited. It's let's report on what stylists and marketing people have used to decorate today's celebrities. If you consider that news, care about this. For everyone else, I just don't know what the big deal is. Okay, that's it.
Can somebody tell me who Saquon Barkley actually is?
Is it that guy?
And what is this guy? He's wearing a Mozart. Can somebody tell me why his trousers don't go all the way down to the bottom of his shoes?
I
His
noticed
cat
his
died.
pants look like he borrowed someone else's.
A borrowed watch and a borrowed.
What's up with
pair of
it's not only is the sleeves, I'm not sorry, the legs too short, but the crotch is too low. How have both of these happened at the same time?
Oh, dear me. Anyway, yes. So yeah, these
Oh
emails
my.
have dropped in. I've got one from Moser this morning, one from Zenith.
I deleted all of them, but there were a
Yeah.
lot.
I
Well,
just
this-
deleted 20. I counted them. There's 20. I did see
So
20 of
some
them.
brands sent a single email saying, "Hey, here's all the celebrities that wore our watches at the Met." Some brands sent one email for every celebrity that wore their watch, which amounted to well over half a dozen individual emails, with each one dedicated to a different celebrity.
Well, let me ask you this.
Yes.
Why don't they just do this? Hire attractive models to wear whatever they want and just send out those pictures and pay for it as advertising. Why
'Cause
why
they're-
can't that
'cause
just
they're
be what
cheap.
they do?
Because people care about this. They are like, oh, well, you know,
Do they?
this so and so who's so good looking or something, they wore this, so I'm wearing this too. This works,
Yeah.
unfortunately, with some
Anyway.
people at least.
So what's wrong with me? Why am I so
Where do
offended
we
by
begin?
this on multiple levels? What's my problem, guys?
You choose watches based on their merit and your personal taste and not the taste of others. Maybe that's
Is it
why.
that you don't get invited to the Met Gala, Ariel? Is that really what
That's
this is
also
I
about?
was
true,
at
yes.
the Met. I walked across it when they were setting it up.
I actually think that we should get
I
Ariel
was
an
at
invite
the
to the
Met
Met Gala. Can you imagine what he'd wear? Yeah.
Even shorter pants.
Shouldn't I know what is actually in the Met
Like,
Gala?
Actual
Is it
shorts.
a room where people stand together, dressed up, and then leave?
It's
Is it
it's just about the
entering?
entrance. It's just about the entrance.
Oh, God.
What actually happens there, no one cares about. It's about being photographed there on your way into the event. At that point, you might as well go home
Mhm.
and leave. You stay there to
Yeah,
be
Are
polite.
they
But
buying something? Are they celebrating something? Is something new being debuted?
I
What
think
is
we
it
just
going
go up
on?
the stairs. I think we just go up the stairs. They're photographs, and they're just showing out the fire escape at the back. That's it. They just go in, and then they go back out. There's a taxi at the back. Nothing actually
We
happens
can always
inside.
we can
It
always
strikes me like if you're not famous for, like, you're not a musician or an actor and aren't going to go to an actual awards show, this is like the catch-all, like, the compensatory show. Well, there's this one event you can go to. It gets media coverage. No one really knows why it's there, but it gets media coverage. And don't worry, you won't have to lose or be nominated and not win something.
Hmm.
Is
Yeah.
that what it
Okay.
is? Is it the consolation
Probably.
gala? Like, what is it?
Oh, hold on a second. I'm now about to get annoyed because I just googled Met Gala.
You
What's
know,
going
so,
on
like
here?
the people listening, somebody was bound to say
I'm
something by now if it was easy an answer.
I am feeling culturally appropriated. There is a man wearing
Okay.
a pretend
Dear.
kilt.
Oh, poor Rick.
That
You're-
that
you're-
I
looks
don't know-
like he did something very
Oh no, that's
terrible to
it's
bagpipes.
2003. That's 2003. Although why they're showing it for the 2005 coverage? Maybe it's because it was so offensive to the world of Scotland. that
Next
a
to a
man
wedding
wearing
cake.
Does that look
kilt with
offensive to you?
jeans.
I don't know. I mean, he's clearly not curious because of the jeans.
Yeah. Anyway, right. That is yeah. Anyway, we're gonna start this show official. So we'll just do a quick clap in, and I'm gonna link the Met Gala to our first story. So here we go. Let's clap in. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Round of applause. And I like that. That's a good intro. Greetings. Welcome. You realise now that the clap always stays in the show. Just it's become our thing.
It sounds
Do
like
people
a
know
free
why we
Georgia
did it?
slap.
We're not famous for talking about watches. We're not famous for anything else. Even go to the Met Gala, which we've just discussed, and those of you who watch on Blog to Watch Weekly Live can see the Met Gala discussion. We're just famous for literally having the clap. I'm sure that's not the way to phrase that.
No.
There we go. Anyway, right. So
Wait, why do
I'm
we?
gonna
Wait a
link-
minute. We're not using this for sound syncing purposes.
No, it serves absolutely
Not
no
anymore.
purpose and hasn't for about 40 episodes. It served no purpose whatsoever.
If you want us to replace the clap with a sound effect, I nominate people to send in sound effects.
Sound
I agree. If you want a signature sound,
Okay.
that's fine. But you know,
Okay, yeah, we'll take sound effects. Just send them to us. We'll play it. In fact, why don't we just start off? I was going to start off with relating to the Met Gala, our first story, but let's instead of that find the absolutely world famous jingle. I don't know if this is the right one. Actually, this might be the wrong one. This is the original.
Throwback.
Oh, throwback.
Hmm.
This is a slow drift. That's too drifty. But
Rick, I think only you can hear
This is
it.
it.
Yeah,
No
we have
one, no
no
one else
idea what
can
you're
hear it.
Thank God. But we can pretend to hear it, and then we're
Wanna talk,
There we
let's
go.
hear your
You know, you're
thoughts
like-
on a blog to watch.
so loud.
+44 738 6690
Hopefully you're all quite
897.
you're listening to So yes, you can get in touch on WhatsApp.
+44 738 6690 897.
It's
should we
apparently the
call
authors-
Primus? If they did it for South Park, why not
Oh,
us?
Primus! Can you imagine Primus doing our intro? Has anyone been watching the Primus drum auditions? Anyone know about this? No. Primus
No.
need a new drummer, so they've kind of put it out to the world to submit their audition tapes to be the new Primus drummer. It's a fascinating.
So
little
basically, the
documentary
same thing I
series.
did with the opening sound effect. That's
yes.
it sounds like it's a
not
good
quite
idea.
not quite as advanced or quite as world famous.
I wouldn't
but
mind
yes,
drums.
if you've got a sound effect, then do send it in to us. Anyway, right. I was going to link the Met Gala and all the emails we've been getting to our first story, and our first story is going to be this from David: the grinding gears, the effects of watch consumers not caring about watches and watchmaking. And my question is, David, could you care less about the Met Gala?
I could.
For all those wondering what's going on, just go straight to the comment section
I mean,
in this
honestly,
particular
some
article.
people,
The
some of
grammar
the time,
police. I mean, I agree with the grammar police. The phrase is "couldn't care less." Could care less makes no sense to me, but I accept that to you
read the article
to
on Merriam-Webster for crying out
no, I
loud.
understand.
Jeez.
It's like the fact that the word literal has now become a word that says that it's not actually literal. I accept that. Could care less is used by Toby in the West Wing to describe couldn't care less. So I'm okay if the writer of the West Wing is into it, and so have I. We'll leave the grammar police at that. But if you're
I mean, we
interested
do
in
have
this,
a
that's fine.
copy editor, so I do lean on them as well every once in a while, you know. And
So
it's
it's their
like if
fault
it passes that,
if it passes.
then
Yeah.
no, it's I take ownership of my content, but I'm just saying it passed two people and freaking Merriam-Webster, so leave me alone for
It
crying out
didn't pass me, and it didn't pass the comment section. Anyway,
loud.
right,
Yeah.
the effects of watch consumers not caring about watches. I just want to still go back and re-edit that title, just to implement the grammar police more. Give us the SP. I think the image probably says it all. But give us the lowdown on this story, David.
Yeah, it's just I just came to this realization that I think is an interesting state of affairs where people who spend a bunch of money on watches, we might sometimes assume that they also know about watches, but they don't. And if this keeps on happening for long enough, then what will happen is that people, and not people, brands will be like, oh, well, actually, we can do whatever we want because people will not know. They will not notice. And those who notice are not buying watches anyway. So whatever. And basically, that's where we are ending up slowly and surely here. So,
Mm, mm.
yeah.
And what do you think is the biggest sign? Is it fastening your AP to a keyring?
I think yeah, that's one of them for sure, which is an official AP campaign photograph. But also, it's more about how you can get essentially the same case and sometimes the same bracelet, but definitely the same case for $400 and $4,500 on a watch.
Mm,
And
mm,
I'm not sure that was the case in the 90s and the aughts, right? I just don't think you could buy the same watch with essentially the same case for 10 times the price, 10x. And that is, I've been there. I held these two watches and I was thinking to myself, there's zero distinguishable difference between them. And for one, that's great because you could look at it as a democratization of certain elements. It just depends on how you look at it. Has an expensive case become cheaper to produce and thus available on cheaper watches, or is it the other way around, and are we now getting cheaply made cases on expensive watches? And I think that's what's happening.
David, let me ask you
So,
a question. If
yep.
what you're saying is true, where does this lead product? Obviously, product will change. Brands will put more effort into some areas and less into others. If let's take this sort of the logical extreme, where does product go if this continues to be the way that you believe it is?
It's what you see on the screen right now. I think it's a Celitake with watch for $14,600 on a rubber strap. It's just not much substance. It's more about style. It's more about rocking the brand or a shape or something like that. I think we're already on the way. So, sure, it can go further. The logical extreme is still far away. But I think we're getting there slowly. I think in a sense you could argue we're already there with three, four, or $500,000 Richard Milles, which are of course very nice, but everybody knows that those are not worth $500,000 or whatever. So it's just a whole lot more about branding and shapes and icons and whatever else, and people seeking out status symbols as opposed to actual technical content and merit.
So
That's where we're going.
I, it's not a matter of agreeing or disagreeing. I just the market tries to make what they think the consumer wants. We are in a world where a relatively small number of people have mechanical expertise. They don't
Hmm.
necessarily work with machines. They don't necessarily understand about precision instruments, let alone anything related to horology. They lack the sort of prerequisite education to identify what you're talking about. This case maybe not worth as much, or I could buy this for cheaper. If you have the compulsion as a watch collector and spend enough years doing this, you naturally have to find ways of finding value, right? So you're like, wait a minute, I don't need to spend that for this. So I get all that. I'm just wondering if it's not such a problem right? Because if consumers are willing to spend it, and that's willing to create industry, those profits allow for the lavishly over engineered watches that we like that are never a sales success. So many of the watches we like, if it was just those watches, the industry would not exist, right? Because it's just not enough people that understand them. They're not priced like quite enough for the big margins. I mean, offices and employees and all that, that all comes from those big fat margins. And so, yeah,
Right.
those watches aren't necessarily good for us as wearers, but aren't they good for us as professionals?
That's all true, but what I'm seeing is Hublot, for example. I bring up the Mecha 10 in the article, which is a fantastic movement, a gorgeous looking watch, and we all know it's just essentially an exercise in watch enthusiasm, even by the brand and its own engineers. It doesn't make too much practical sense. It's not particularly. It was destined to not have mass appeal, and yet they did it, and they went all the way, and they still keep, it keeps ticking along the whole collection, and they make it and whatever else. And I still believe that Hublot watches of old, like let's say 10 years ago when they made the Mecha 10, still had a little bit more substance. But it's not just about Hublot; it's basically everyone. I think what's happening is that we're drifting a bit too far to the extremes in which where we get less and less substance, and we don't really get the return that you described. It's absolutely true that these things with their ginormous margins help fund other operations, which give us the watches that we actually like, and the enthusiasts, actually end up buying, but would not help on their own support, such large operations. But if you look at Jaeger or look at a bunch of others, it's what's happening is that we get less and less, and yet we don't get the duometra, we don't get freshly developed gyro tourbillons. Everything is just basically a decade or more old. So I just want to see this return into the cycle that you described, where we actually end up getting nicer and nicer watches, and maybe also the brands to stop taking quite so much substance out of these so-called luxury watches.
I I would simply respond with this. Yes, I want to see return to those times as well. Part of me isn't as angry about it because I understand that there's a lot of economic restrictions that prevent brands from investing in these projects and these movements and these things and then pricing them at a relatively low amount. So I guess the question is, in an era of resource restriction and fear, how can brands best use limited budgets and resources to continue to make us happy? Because it is the easiest thing in an era like this where they're spending less to just, again, they already got the designs, or it's easy to make, or it's not as much metal, make things that are simpler or smaller or whatever because it's less expensive to do. And that allows them to look like they're continuing operations, but it really just looks like cost cutting. I think that if they had the more money, they would actually do a lot more of what you're talking about because each of those companies, even if there's jerks there, you and I know there's enough of the good people there to push some of these good projects through.
Mm.
Exactly.
Okay, well, let's put that theory to the test about value for money and how things are changing by something we've not done for a while. And I don't know if it's because they listen to us and so haven't been doing 13 releases a day for the past 9 months, but
Seiko,
Seiko
they
have a
Yes.
do.
new
They are
release.
listening.
The Seiko Prospex 1968 Heritage Divers GMT, which means it's time to play Guess the Price of the Seiko. So, gentlemen, Ripley, you
Good. I don't
Yay.
actually know this one.
Okay,
I've been
so
waiting for this.
Go on, Ripley.
this
Test us.
is, oh dear. Okay, so this isn't. It's loosely inspired by the case of the 1968 Divers watch, which was it introduced a high beat movement and a 300-meter depth rating. So not the 62 Moss, which is the one they always seem to look to for inspiration. This looks very, very similar to watches that already exist. It is or 0.4 millimeters thicker, which gives you an extra 100 meters of water resistance. It's a 6R series GMT movement, so it's a collar style, not flyer style. Ceramic bezel, as mentioned, 300 meters, stainless steel case and bracelet, and big for Seiko. This is the first standard production model, not a limited edition at all, that has a clasp with a micro adjustment system built into it.
Very good, very good. Right, well, let's guess the price then. Ariel?
Ah, damn it.
Mhm.
I reckon it's either like 600 quid or 6,000 quid.
Hmm.
I don't know which.
It's really like
Is that
Oh,
micro
man.
adjustment adding thousands to the price?
It really could be. It could be 1,000, or it could be 3,000, or it could be more.
It's the
2,500.
beauty of
I
this
mean, I'm
game.
really shooting in the dark. I really don't
2,500
know.
from Ariel.
I just
breaking
don't know.
breaking new beats is at 4,500 in the chat. David,
I was going to go with 25 as well, but I would say 2,600 then.
2,600. Ripley, can you remember how much this costs? I reckon I'm going 9. I'm going cheap. I'm going 900. Ripley, can you remember how much this costs?
I can, and I will tell you this: it was a little bit less than I thought, considering it's
Yeah.
got 100 extra meters of water resistance, and it's the first one production model to feature this clasp. It's
Mhm.
less than you'd think.
No, and we're scrolling down. Look at a Seiko. Wait a minute, it's
Ooh.
inspired by the ocean. 1,700 USD.
That's
Is that
less.
inspired by the ocean, or is that as big as a ship? I mean, that
That's actually a small island that the Chinese have deposited
like a
in the
beached
ocean.
whale. This new Seiko is gonna look beautiful.
1,700 GMT. That feels good. I like that. I like that.
It is one of those weird prices, though. That is very
Yeah.
okay.
I need to. What I need to do is I need to do a wee chart with all the Seikos, just a little image and the price underneath, a continuum, and just see how ridiculous it looks as you jump between watches as to what the price does. Because while I thought it was cheap, I could also genuinely see that this could be quite an expensive Seiko. It's just over $1,000, which would normally mean it needs to be a grand Seiko. But
Is
we'll
that
let away
ceramic
with it.
bezel?
Yeah, ceramic bezel.
Yeah, that's-
And it's if memory serves, this is about $200 more expensive than the slightly thinner but less water resistant siblings to this. That are I think it's a 1968 reimagination, reinterpretation models or something like that, but it's only about $200 for the better clasp and the burlier case with more water resistance.
So what do you get for the watches that are like $3,000 that are also a
They don't
Seiko
get bliss.
diver that are not that are just like what more do you get? I don't
You
understand.
get less money in your bank account. That's what you get.
Titanium,
That's it.
maybe, I guess, is case material. Like
You'll usually get one of the 8L movements, so it's you'll be 4 hertz rather than 3.
this is
You get
3 hertz.
marketing. What you
Oh,
get
okay.
is you get marketing whereby they have imagined that it looks like something out of their window. I don't think is there any reference into this?
No,
watch
no,
as
it's
to
just
what it's inspired
so-
by.
It's the beach-
It's
the
inspired
beach
by
whale.
no,
nothing.
it's just it's so refreshing. They made just like a good looking sports watch that's like, inspired by water sports and being sporty and having a good summer.
It's just
this
inspired
is
by wanting a blue and white watch, and that's it.
yeah, it's so refreshing. They're like, we made a watch. It's a like sporty GMT equipped diver thing. Go
It's
have a
pretty
good
looking
summer.
Watch. I like seven. I love this. This is good. 42 mil diameter, proper size for a watch.
It's
we
very
like that.
respectable.
Yeah, I love it. Love it. Great. Right. Well, however, there is a problem because that is $1,700. Another watch that we looked at this week on the channel, Ariel in particular, is this watch. Also a professional dive watch. The Seagull. I'm assuming this isn't a copy edit mistake.
Nope.
Okeanos?
Sure.
Okeanos?
Let's go swim in the ocean.
Yeah. This does look like one of those has been translated from one language into another and somehow extra letters have got in. It says professional ultra diving waterproof 1000. It's actually called professional ultra diving waterproof 1000. Is that its genuine name?
It's
just
professional.
copied it
No,
and pasted it
professional.
from their website, basically. It's
Yeah,
the name they gave it.
Anyway, so this is
The bezel says rotating bezel on it. I wish the dial said dial on it. Non-rotating dial.
This does look like that, the Patek that they took the letters from the drawing that the guy did. This does look like that arrow on the rotating bezel was actually just pointing at the bezel in the original
Everything is pointing
blueprint,
at something.
and it just said rotating bezel, and then somebody just put, like have you seen the advert whereby they just use the Instagram or WhatsApp chat to be the advert? You make me a simple advert. What does it need to say? So they publish that. all very clever advertising. This not so sure. However, there is a problem. It is tested to 1,000 meters. It's professional diving, so it gives you all the stuff except for the GMT hand that the last watch gave. It's got a date. How much do you think this is?
Well, I
1,000
know.
meter dive watch.
How many arrows can you find on it?
You like the
There's-
arrow at 10 o'clock, which
Okay,
points
let's-
Exactly.
to the helium release valve that actually says
Uh,
helium valve? Is that like
so
anyone's looking for
one-
that?
Well, everything's labeled. It tells you it's the bezel. It tells you it's the valve. Tells you it's
Yeah.
professional diving.
I like how
Helium
there's
valve
like a
this way.
target around the date, like you have to shoot it.
Since 1950. So this is actually made by Seagull, who we are normally more used to understanding that they make movements at the likes of Studio Underdog, etc.
They make many dive
use-
watches. This is just one
Right,
of
okay.
many models they have.
And so, how did you come across this in order to review it? Did they send it to you? Did you find it somewhere and thought, I'd like to look at
Yeah, the pre-tariffs and everything.
that? Of course. Yeah, you need to send these to Europe from now on to get reviewed.
Yeah, I know. Look, the reason that I wanted to review this one, honestly, was for the novelty of it having a Chinese character logo.
Hmm.
Like, it's not the only one in the world. I don't have any other watches I've reviewed, I think, that are Chinese character logo. I've reviewed other Chinese watches, of course, but with, Latin letters in English, essentially. And I just sort of wanted to see what this is all about. I took it swimming in the actual ocean. It's got some quirks to it. There's some things that they could definitely fix, but they're onto something. It's definitely good. None of their dive watches look anything like one another. They're completely different directions. This is actually one of the most standard dive watch looking ones. I just wanted to see what this was all about. The fact that each one was individually tested to 1,000 meters in their machines, like that's kind of cool. It's legible. I mean, obviously, it's highly inspired by Seiko, Omega, Rolex, choose your thing there. But I put it on the NATO strap that came with it. And I kind of dug it. It's a cool it's a cool watch. The one, there's two issues. And you're actually pointing at one of them right now. The loom on the hands is lighter than the loom on the hour markers, which is a bit awkward. And the bezel, it's one of those safety bezels. You have to like push it down so it can turn.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like it doesn't turn, but it kind of rattles a little bit.
Great.
Which you could fix with a little spring, like a little extra spring here or there. But it's not the best thing in the world to hear the watch rattle. Oh, it's not very loud or anything like that. But I think that those could be fixed easily. And if you're looking for a new type of sort of dive watch to get into, Seagull definitely knows what they're doing. This is not like an indie micro brand.
Yeah.
So I'm again, there's quirks to this model, but like I'm very perked up to reviewing more of the Seagull sport watch collection. I'm quite fascinated. This isn't just our like remake of that old manually wound Valjoux chronograph that all the nerds are into. Like I'm over that stuff. This is for me much more interesting.
Yeah. Do we know what do the Chinese letters just say Seagull?
I imagine. I'm not gonna
If
guess.
somebody in the chat could confirm what the watch is actually saying, as opposed to saying like "down with Western imperialism" or something,
No, I don't think it says
without you knowing. I really like this. I think that's quite cool. I did just check because I'm surprised that 1,000 meters does equal 3,280 feet. It does actually equal 3,280.84 feet, and I'm surprised that they didn't put the 0.84 after it, just to be precise. But how much is this watch, David?
Probably 350 pre-tariff.
I was going to say, yeah, give us a pre-tariff and a post-tariff price. It's the same price as the Seiko post-tariff for you
Yeah.
guys. Ripley, what do you think this watch costs?
$295.
$295. I think you're all both quite close. As I scroll down, Arrow's written quite a lot about this watch. You know, dislike it. It is 1,154.
What?
Whoa. That's
No?
higher than it was when I wrote the review by a lot.
Really?
It was $899. Maybe they just raised their prices due to tariffs.
No,
Mhm.
yeah, I don't think it's them that raised their prices. I think it's you lot that raised their prices. They had nothing to do with it.
We
It
must
wasn't.
have just added that because
I'm also
different like
sure
a
that when I
week
looked at
ago.
this, I'm also sure that when I looked at this, going, we should talk about this watch this week, that it wasn't $1,100.
Oh,
Let's just check the
jeez.
Seagull website and see what it costs in real
Why
money.
are tariffs
Good old
invading
pounds.
our hobby? Our hobby
Well,
has
no,
like does nothing
they're
but make
only
people happy.
they're
We do
only
not need
invading your
extra
hobby.
costs in our hobby.
They're only invading your hobby. They're just making us laugh at you and your hobby.
Oh,
All right, how long is it going to take us? Right, we've just arrived on the Seagull website. 1 to 10, how long is it going to take me to find this watch
3
on this
clicks.
website? Oh no, actually, there's
oh, there it is.
Oh, they got shop now. I just
Oh, they
had
make
to
a
get
blue
them timing.
one.
Did it say
Yeah,
dive
they
a
do.
1,000-meter deeper? I don't want to
Oh,
do that.
Oh! You have to scroll down here. Look for the text. I don't know where it is, but they have this
What am I
really
looking
funny
for?
statement. I don't know if it's still there. There should be some
Uh,
description. Yeah, down
Unleash
there.
adventure.
No, and they say that it's
excellence.
basically comparing it to $5,000 to $50,000 watches.
Okay, scroll on, Rick. Oh, there it is. Yes.
It's right there.
There
No,
Oh,
we
it
no,
go.
said
it's
it.
there. It's there. I'll
$5,000
just
to
let you read that
$50,000
quietly there.
watches.
Robustness
oh,
and functionality of luxury
okay.
watches priced between 5 and 50,000.
Okay, that's
Now, I
interesting.
Okay,
So
I guess
look,
that's
look, look.
true.
That's
I
the
am curious about this United Kingdom logo, but charging is in USD. I think somebody.
They know
let's-
something.
No, but look
In
at this.
fact, it's
Where it
all
says
charged.
Seagull, there's 2
There-
Chinese characters, yet there's 4 characters on the dial. So what are the
Yeah.
extra 2 characters?
Well, probably dollars because they seem to be predicting the future of American imperialism. Afghanistan, USD.
Of course.
Albania, USD. Andorra, then. But do you think they've got Greenland listed separately? Hold on. Let's see. If
That
we
would be
find
hilarious.
Denmark,
Well, I
USD.
mean, I feel like we're in some era
Greenland, is
of
Greenland
rapid
here?
inflation. Like
Greenland, USD. There you go. You can buy this watch in Greenland, United States dollars. The Chinese have already done your work for you, Mr. Trump. Is there anywhere that you can actually buy this watch that's not in USD?
Why is the
What
12
about
o'clock
China?
marker a Cadillac logo? Is what I'm thinking about.
Because they can. Interestingly, in China, you also buy this watch in United States dollars. Where is this watch actually being made? That's the good.
You don't want to know.
So it's quite. That's quite a
Ultra
pretty looking
diving.
watch, the blue.
It says
Uh,
professional diving on the bezel and says ultra diving on the crown guard. So which one is it?
Well, it's both. What's the title of the
Professional
watch? It's
ultra
like the
diving.
ultra professional old diver.
not for the normal ultra divers, but for the professional,
professional
of the ultra
ultra
divers.
If you're just a hobby ultra diver.
That's right. For those that just ultra dive at the weekend, this watch is not for
I-
you.
I
Ultra
ultra dive
dive
for a
periods?
living.
Become a professional. Get tested to
Right.
1,000 meters.
Anyway, that's good. There is. I'm daring to play the video. Right, this might blow all our eardrums out, depending on how quickly the music kicks in. You ready? I'll try-
I found some text on their website that they didn't take
Oh.
off yet.
Okay, where?
So this is on a different one of the watches, but they say beat the tariff, and then in
Uh-huh.
quotes, tariff proof your timepiece. The
Uh-huh.
exclamation mark is for some reason out of the quotes. Order before May 1st,
Uh-huh.
guaranteed pre-tariff pricing. I like how they had to write the word tariff in there 3 times. So I guess May 1st, which was recently, was when that went up.
oh, music. There we go. There
Wow,
we go.
they're
There's
really
the video.
leading into this.
That guy could be in Scotland. That doesn't look very Chinese scene. That may be a bit more so. Actually,
Oh,
where
but
is
there's
this?
a Mother's Day sale. Text
Mother's Day
10% off, which apparently was the tariff increase. So if you
Right.
use the code MOTHER,
Oh,
that-
there you go. This guy is a professional ultra diver. That's what a professional ultra diver looks like. Go check out the video of Blog to Watch Weekly Live if you want to.
is
know
that a
what
giant
professional
squid?
Ultra dive. I'm not quite sure what that is. This looks like he's maybe in Norway or something. I'm a bit confused because I've not turned the sound up. The sound is probably telling you exactly what's going on.
I mean, we're seeing
there
men
you go.
ultra dive.
Yeah,
Professionally
like a
ultra
Tudor.
dive.
guys wearing
That's a
Tudor
version they
surely,
don't
no?
even sell.
I was going to say that's not actually the watch that they're advertising. We're getting in a dodgy transit van. It's all looking a bit sus.
It's a lot of filters
yep.
they're using. They're making it look real dark. Too
Yeah.
bad about those lubed hands, huh?
Yeah. Anyway, right. Enough of that.
Hey, no, I want to know where that goes.
They go
It's an
ultra diving,
episodic
Ariel.
adventure
You know
down
this
into the
already.
Okeanos.
They've got all the to the bottom of the Okeanos. I swear they've gone. Right. Final dive. We'll do another dive watch. Why not? Let's take these things in threes. Where's
Someone
it
please tell me what the
gone?
characters say on the dial, because now I'm
There we-
curious. Because
well,
again, on their
do you have that?
website, 2 characters for Seagull, yet
Mhm.
4 on the dial.
All right. Well,
Maybe
let's
it's
see if-
Seagull watches. Maybe it says the whole thing.
No. It's Ultra Seagull Professional. Surely it's Chinese symbol for
Ultra Seagull.
Ultra Seagull. It's the ultra professional. It's a professional seagull.
Yeah.
Not just for those that want to be seagulls at the weekend. You have to be full time committed to being a seagull. It's like people who identify as cats. This is for people who identify as
Jeez.
seagulls. There we go.
I'm
Right.
sorry, people
Final.
who identify as cats and seagulls?
I don't think you can identify as both at the same time. I think it's only legitimate to identify.
How dare
as
you
one
suggest
and then
that?
the other.
Yeah, Rick. Whoa.
Oh,
Oh.
have I gone too woke? It's
Yeah.
suggesting that you can't identify as a seagull and a cat at the same time.
Absolutely, you can.
I have
It's-
something
just-
radical to say on this. We cannot identify ourselves. Other people identify us.
Oh, there we go. I'm
Yeah, I
wanting
know
to
I've
say-
said
Mic
that
drop.
about half the people.
I'm just-
I don't know.
I'm just trying to figure out what the portmanteau is of somebody who would identify as a seagull and a cat, and I'm scared about what I might say, so I'm not going to say anything. Right, let's let Kevin in the room while we look at the final dive watch of this little section. Let's go somewhere classic. The Doxa Sub 200 watches with new polished steel bezel. Good morning, Kevin, first of all. What do we
Good morning,
think of
everybody.
Good morning. What do we think of Doxa in general, people? Were Doxa Watches and Wonders, or were they just
They
floating
were
around?
not at the show proper. They were at Beau Rivage. I got to see these really briefly. They have all of the same colors that they did before on the 200. Now you can have it with a steel bezel instead of like a black sapphire bezel like before. So, from a design perspective, it helps bring the 200 into the more of the same design language that we come to expect from them. Also helps them wear a bit more compact. But they're rolling it out with the full lineup of colors. They've got
Yeah.
everyone on this
It's a
one.
good price, but the name just makes me immediately want $200 off the price.
Sub 200.
I don't know.
Good stuff. Kevin, your mic may be feeding back ever so slightly. If you can move it closer to your gob, I think I'm picking up feedback. Good. Doxa then. I quite like this, but I really just don't get where the sub 200 fits in the range. It doesn't feel significantly cheap enough to be entry level, because you can get other Doxas that are more Doxa-ish that are not much more than this. Why would you buy the sub 200 when all the other Doxas?
Because
They're
this is
available.
their attempt at variety.
Yeah, this isn't a cushion case like the 300. This is a little different.
They tried
Right,
so hard
okay.
to make something different. Can we not be proud of them a little bit?
Hmm.
Still all the same colors.
Okay. Yeah. Don't get it.
It's
I
their
mean-
entry level one. This is, and I think this is the absolute least expensive one they make.
It's actually decent. I agree. Like the sub 300 is better. What if you already have a sub 300 and a bunch of other things that look exactly the same? This
Would-
is like,
okay, hold on a second.
hey, do you
Would
still like
you know-
Doxa but have nothing else to buy? Oh, something new.
But would you know, other than this 200, would you know, I challenge any Doxa owner to actually tell me which one they've immediately got on their wrist at any given time from a distance. Line up all your Doxa watches, tell me which one's the 300, which one's the 800, whatever it is. I don't think you can tell the difference. I think I think they're all the same watch. Now, and I speak as a Panerai owner. I think they're all the same watch. I don't think there's any difference between any of them. It makes a blind bit of difference, other than this, which does look a bit different. But I just don't think the price differentiates it enough to make you buy the 200 rather than the cushion case. Who doesn't
Okay,
like a cushion
but again,
case?
you're talking within the context of a brand that is almost notorious for like making it difficult to choose which watch to buy. Like this, like we love them, but this is the hardest brand to choose what model you want to get from.
Okay, well, there's only one way to test that, which is with one of our favorite, which is to visit the brand's website. Let's see
Oh,
what
you're
we've
in for an
got here.
experience, Rick.
Let's
Oh,
see what we've
there's
got
so
here.
many
A whole
similar
lot
The
of
ones.
new
what I call
sub,
backtracking.
the new sub. See, a 250 GMT. How does that look any different from that?
It's
Or
got an
a
extra
sub
hand.
300. It's got an extra hand, but this is
The
look at the
crown's on the
details.
right hand side.
Ones with diamonds on them, and the sub 200
I
diamonds.
quite
But
like
so,
those.
Yeah,
But they're
those
too
are
yeah,
cool.
expensive.
all the guys are like, oh, I like the ones with the diamonds on it. That's a bit different.
Hey, and
So
a shiny
Doxa
green
website
dial too.
200, 200, 200, 200. Oh, view all. How many pages is this going to be?
All the pages.
This is literally the whole of the internet. I mean, why are you showing? You're literally showing every every variation. The sub 200 sharp stainless steel rubber standard. Oh, rubber small. Right. Okay. Nobody goes and buys the small one.
Except me.
Probably. Well, okay. No, but you don't. You know. You ask quietly for the small. You look like you're buying the large, and you buy the small. Anyway,
It's like
yeah,
6 SKUs per dial color.
yeah. They're showing, and that doesn't. Well, it says stainless steel rubber small, stainless steel rubber standard, but the pictures are the same. Are they not?
Oh, yeah.
Well, keep in mind
what's
that we're
small about
only
it?
looking at the steel bezel versions of the
Mhm.
sub 200. They have all of this again with a black bezel in the original
Okay.
lineup.
Yeah, there we go. We're still on the 200s. All right, it's only showing us the 200s. It's not. So when it says show all, there's
What did I say about
46
backtracking? I meant it.
46 variants of sub 200.
Sub 200
Okay.
steel bezel. If you wanted to see more 200s, just go to the 200.
Look at that.
They have literally
1500s.
twice as many.
Okay, so which one of these, the 200 all the way up to the Doxa Army or the sub 1500T, which one of these do you think has the most variations? The sub 200 has 48. I'll just check that again. Is that what I said? 40,
Well,
46 variants. Which one, higher or lower? Pick me one that you think has more variations than the sub 200.
We don't know.
Oh my god.
are you counting the
300?
two?
Yeah,
300T?
300T. Yeah.
300T, right? Higher or lower?
300T.
For those of a British bent, e.g., Kevin and me. Higher or lower? Here we go.
Lower.
Sub 300T
Higher.
has 16 variants. It's lower. You lose out. Okay. Is the collection the sub 300 carbon higher or lower than 16 variants?
Lower.
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 300.
What are we doing now?
14. Woohoo! Okay,
just-
and the final part of our game collection is the sub 300 higher or lower than 14 variants?
14 or 48?
Higher.
14 higher. Final
lower.
one. The one I think everybody was 16 variants.
Higher.
There you go. So for some reason, the sub 200 seems to be the one with all the variation. So there we go. Right. So do we like this watch? Yes, no, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, it's all great. I was
Yeah,
still
it's
looking
alright.
at Seagull prices and see which ones have been affected by tariffs. It has not been applied evenly across the website.
No, it has not. It has not.
Well, the ultra professional one gets the ultra professional tariff, and that's why it's now $1,200.
By the way, do you know there's a new section of their website? I kid you not, called Grand Seagull.
Oh God.
None of them actually say Grand Seagull on the dial, but now they're trying to sample. Is there a thing to this whole Grand Seagull thing?
Yeah, Boris, it's time in the chat. Obviously, knows the old game show because you get nothing in this, nothing in the bed for two in a pair. No, you get nothing for a pair. Anyway, right, let's do hit miss maybe. Let's go around the room. We haven't done this for a while. Kevin, where are you? What are you wearing?
I'm in Kent, and I'm wearing a Mad One today.
Oh, very good, very good.
Trying to get this one up, the original red.
Original red, good. Ariel, where are you? What are you wearing?
I'm back in Los Angeles, and I'll pick up a non-smartwatch that I was wearing. This is the Formex Essence in black ceramic, which I actually think is pretty cool. I like ceramic watches,
Uh-huh.
and the best thing is that it still does the little cushion thing where it goes up and down, even though it's
Oh,
black
I'm doing the
ceramic.
little articulation.
Did
Very
doesn't
good.
need to be skeletonized, but actually quite
Mhm.
legible despite the fact that it is.
Mhm.
But interesting that it's the first, according to them. I didn't know this was like something to be proud of. The first ceramic deployant class with a micro adjust that's ceramic. I'm like, okay, so cool. Yes.
Cool, cool. Breaking New Beats is suggesting that after the Grand Seagull, it will then be the King Seagull that is next. Which, no truer statement has ever been said. David, where are you? What are you wearing?
I'm in Budapest and I have the Albishorn Type 10 chronograph of all things. This is the new brand by Sebastian Scholmonte, who used to be head of all things at Salita, and before that he
Mhm.
was at La Perret and Angelus and Arnold and Son, and he's a great guy, very engineering minded, watchmaking minded guy. So I'm looking forward to wearing this. It's an interesting concept of all things, basically.
Cool.
Ariel
Cool.
recorded a superlative podcast with Sebastian. I highly recommend you guys go and listen to that.
Oh, Ariel, how was the event as well? How was the Citizen Titanium? You all titaniumed out?
It was very super titanium-y.
It was
No,
ultra titanium.
it
It's a
was
super
so
ultra
titanium-y.
professional
Titanium-y.
meeting.
So titanium-y. Um, I actually got frustrated with how much I wanted people to know about super titanium. Like I realized like people don't know enough about it, and then as I was talking about it, like to everyone, like I was explaining super titanium, and I did a really good job, I think, of distilling it down. But then I realized like how weird it is to explain to people like you don't just want a material, but you want a highly processed material which is processed to look like another material, right? So
Mm.
like they came out with this new yellow gold colored super titanium. And
Ooh.
if you go to an average person and you say to them like, oh, it's not gold but it looks like gold, they're like, I don't want that. But here it's you're supposed to be, it doesn't look like gold and it's super titanium, and people are like, oh, that's exciting, I want that. And there's so much steps required before you sort of not just want a titanium watch, but like I said, want a ultra processed in a good way, using a bespoke process that Citizen developed in house over decades, to harden it, to color it, and all this stuff like that. So it's amazing technically, but there's like so much hurdles involved in simply understanding it. And I was almost humbled by how many years it must take for the average person to get there, where when you say to them highly processed titanium, which looks like a different material, they're like, sign me up. And so I think it's an interesting, it's like Citizen is incredibly proud of it. And what I said to them, which I think they actually took to heart, is why aren't there all these other consumer products out there that have super titanium? Like you can license it. Like I'm not saying like let other watch brands use it, but like why can't your hair dryer, be made out of super titanium? Like there's all this other stuff. So
Yes.
the consumers develop a relationship for it and are like, oh, I loved it in this appliance or this thing, I want it in a watch as well. And I think that that's some of that collaboration stuff. That's how they have to be thinking about collaborations, is to get their technologies, um, allow consumers to have a relationship with it. So the event was lovely, but I waxed poetic about super titanium and discovered, even though it's like so obvious to us how amazing this is, you know, people don't know that super titanium is the best titanium. And it really is, pretty much at any price point.
Did you pitch a super titanium hairdryer to the audience that was at this event? Because if you did, I think they're going to think you're
Yeah, I did.
slightly
I did.
crackers. You did.
No, they liked it. They actually
Super
loved it.
titanium cutlery. Let's go for that. Kevin, the Riverside app is telling me you may have a multiple windows open of the Riverside
Oh,
app.
okay.
And
Hold
that
on.
is what is causing the problem. So if you do, can you
Oh.
close them? It's also telling me you've got other windows open, but I don't want to go there. So what
No,
you
you don't want to
do,
go there.
what
No.
you do
Kevin, we're
with your
spying on you,
own
pal.
with your own windows is entirely up to you.
We know you're recording simultaneously on another podcast
Should be
right
better
now. We
now.
understand. One podcast at a time, please, sir. Come on.
Ripley, where are you? What are you wearing?
I've been in Los Angeles, got back today from San Francisco, was at Windup, and I am wearing a Casio G-Shock.
Very
This is
nice.
the full metal chronograph version of the 2100 series. And it's the same
Cool.
size as the regular one, so good on them for that.
Excellent. How was Wind Up?
It was
Are
good.
you
It's
wound up?
always good. Always have a good time there. Always good to see some watches you don't otherwise see out and about.
Good, good. Excellent. I'm in Scotland and I'm not wearing a Panerai. Got the Arnie on. There we go. That's it from me. Right, let's do some hit, miss, maybes. And we're going to go to our favorite flyback article, which is kind of a wee summary of watches we maybe didn't fully cover with our own individual articles on the website. There's a wee Bax and Strauss ballerina color cascade, but we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about this, the Swatch Up in Smoke, priced at 150 USD. This is Swatch producing a 420 watch. For what you know about that is entirely up to you.
I'm not even sure it is actually. Mike
Is
certainly
it?
thought it
You
was,
think-
but
You think
as
Mike
I look
thinks
at
it's a
this, I
reference?
recognize there's a distinct possibility that's not what they were thinking at all.
I mean, this is so this confused me because this is all about, and I say you Americans because I think you are the only country. I don't even know if does Canada do the dates the wrong way around?
The date's the wrong way around.
As in, like everybody else in the world goes day, month, year. You guys do month, day, year. Does Canada also do month, day, year?
Yeah, but the way we write it is the way you say it colloquially.
No.
Oh my God, do
Yeah.
we want to get into this?
Okay, right. Let's grab
I
him,
don't
please, in
say
the chat.
10th January. I say it's January 10th.
You say it's the 10th of January. That's my birthday,
Who
by the way.
says that?
It's
No,
just
you say
me.
it's January 10th.
It's just, no, you don't. You say it's the
rest
10th
of the
of
world
January.
uses that.
Sorry?
Well,
The rest of the world is
Rest of the
the
world.
British
In the
still
chat, the 10th of Jan. It's the 10th of January, not January. I mean, it
we're
is January
proud
10th
of
as well.
our calendar orderism.
So the point is that 420 watch is the 20th of May in your nomenclature, whereas 420 in ours means absolutely nothing other than 420.
I just don't know
so-
that this is a, I don't know this is a 420 watch. I think it's
Mhm.
funny that he's really leaning into that.
I
but
mean, they released
actually
it.
don't know that it is.
They released it on 420.
Oh, they did?
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Oh.
just looking at it, it doesn't.
Mm.
It doesn't look like there's nothing obviously smoky about it.
Yeah, other than it
I mean,
saying
like, there's a
smoke on
lot
the
of. It
dial.
could be a magician, they disappear up in smoke like that,
Mhm. Yeah, it's
What's
magic
the
watch.
dial print? It looks like shamrocks.
I think it's supposed to be clouds of smoke.
It's clouds of smoke. I'm looking for. I don't know. Is there a spliff on the back of this watch? I don't know.
But like nobody in that who does it ever uses the term up in smoke. Like, hey, does everybody want to go up
Hey,
in smoke? Nobody
in
says
Europe,
that.
we say smoking up. Okay, It's
Because you're
smoking
not
up,
hanging
up
with
in
the
smoke.
cool kids from Zurich. That's why.
Okay.
Right, let's give this watch some voting. Are you really going to pay $140 for a 47 mil watch that's only vaguely funny once a year and in Europe is never funny? Is it a hit? Is it a miss? Or is it a maybe? 1, 2, 3, go. Miss, maybe, and whatever David's saying is blocked by a pop-up.
So I actually
maybe.
have my cards. I don't know why I'm
Yeah,
doing that.
cards. Good. Kevin.
Just the date format. That's all it is. It's a miss for that.
It's a miss of the day. It's a joke about a date format, and that's it, really. That's it. Suggestions in the chat that Up in Smoke is to commemorate the state of the Swatch group. Yep, like that. Thank
See,
you for
there's
such-
so many other things that
like
could
that.
be. Our profits up in smoke.
Yeah.
Yes.
Creative freedom up in smoke.
I know. Hold on. As a burger eating American, the way it is now is the correct way. There we go. We say so. And I feel like the something about Ariel's. I feel like the Zodiac about to watch collab was more weed feeling than this. The pineapple dream. There you go. Ariel, were you smoking something when you designed the Zodiac? This is
Not at the
what's being
time,
accused
no.
of. Not at the time. Right, Ariel, you gave it a what? A hard miss.
No, I
Or
gave it a maybe. I know this collection of watches. They're comfortable. Yes, they're big, but they're comfortable. They're supposed to be a big palette. One, if it has the loud ticking movement, you lost me. I also think the dial like looks interesting. Like it's one of those things that you wear out. People are going to be like, "What is going on that dial?" So really, the only thing is this might ask people to look at my wrist, and then they get to be like, "Well, actually, I don't know the story of this. Maybe it's 420. I don't know." But that's it. It's not a very enthusiastic maybe. I mean, I think Swatch could have done this better. Maybe if it actually was easy to catch on fire. You know, if it was flammable,
Yeah.
like I don't think bioceramic is, but if it was
I,
actually
I, I,
flammable, I'd be more excited.
I'm not sure whether we'll get demonetized. Not that we make any money anyway for this particular comment. I'll just let you go to the chat and read the comment.
What I just
And,
said is going to get us demonetized.
if you
Not
want to go
just
to about
again.
55 minutes in the recording, you'll see James's comment on this particular watch. David,
Well, it's a maybe. It's at least they are trying a tiny little bit. So I guess that's why it's a maybe. It's bad in every other sense, but at least they're trying. So that's
so
good.
unlike the art time last week, which you came up, I think, with the quote of the year so far of if I ever wanted to know what a watch looked like that nobody had designed, that was it. This at least has some sort of design in it.
Thank you.
Good
Yes.
stuff. Grand Ripley.
I like the concept. I don't like the execution. Yeah,
Mhm.
Bomberg made a hemp watch, which was full
Oh, I
Rasta
remember that,
colors and
yeah.
had a transparent dial with
Yeah.
pieces of hemp embedded in it. This just
Mhm.
seems like you could have just asked some guys smoking to make their smoking themed watch, and they would have come up with
Wouldn't
something a
this
bit more
look better
creative.
if it didn't say "up in smoke" on there?
I think that's the
100%.
Like I feel that's
Yeah.
really the worst part. You know, it's like those cheesy, like those low price decorations on walls that are just like random statements. It feels like the watch version of a cheap Airbnb.
Welcome to the
Yeah,
local
that's actually true, and it smells like it as well, probably.
Good stuff. Right, yeah, it's a mess. It's a mess. It's funny, so we'll give it a point for at least injecting some humor. Another watch which has injected some humor. I think there's one or two people in the chat that have a particular dislike for some aspects of this watch. Is this from Breguet, the Breguet Classic Subscription? Sounds like it should be something to do with a chef. Subscription 2025. I think in general people really
That's
like this
literally
watch.
just the classy way of saying Kickstarter. Okay,
Yeah, the subscription.
that's
Okay,
pre-order. That's how they
yeah.
used to call it in 17 whatever. That's all it means.
Yeah.
The subscription. Everybody, I really think quite liked this watch until they realized it was $48,500, and then they went, "What?"
I think
What are
actually
you playing
Breguet Kickstarter Classique has a kind of nice ring to it.
That's one for Chat GPT to
I want to
produce
hear
an
a whole
advert for,
story
so.
about how Breguet originally got people to
Mhm.
pre-order watches. It's true. They prepaid and they'd come back like months, if not years later with the finished watches. They're like, oh, here it finally is. Like that was the ultimate trust. That's the story they should have told.
Who knew that Breguet was the ultimate source of watch Kickstarters? I think that is what we refer to Breguet as from now on. The original Kickstarter brand, Breguet. Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Okay, it's basically from the museum to your wrist because that watch is in
Mhm.
a museum, but this looks like I don't know, like the copy room at your office being haunted by poltergeists. Like, what is that? Like,
Well, I
what does
think
it
in the
have to do with
chat,
watchmaking? Like,
yes,
a possessed stack of print papers.
paperwork. Celebrate with us the art of watchmaking. So there you go. The subscription 45
Does it do
700.
anything surprising, or is it just a one-handed Breguet?
Just takes money out your bank account. I think
It's
so.
like a
That's what
really
it does.
expensive Meister singer.
Yeah. But it's
Yeah.
beautifully finished. I
It
mean, the
is
case
lovely.
back it's absolutely stunning.
There's the back of it.
Mm.
I
Yeah,
mean, does it even need all that stuff?
Give it to us as the watchmaker. We'll take it apart and put it back together with far fewer pieces in it. There you go. So somebody scratching out, etching out, and I can do that. Give me a really sharp bit of metal. Anyway, is it a hit? Is it a miss? Or is it a maybe? 1, 2, 3, go. Hit. Maybe hit. Kevin, why is it a hit?
I just love it. I think
Yeah,
they're going to be
that's
on
the
a roll
problem.
this year. Unfortunately, it is a bit pricey, but they've got this.
Smidge.
You can't get away from it. Just a smidge, yeah. But they've got their own alloy now. This their own gold, which
Oh no, they haven't. It's the same gold as everybody else. Get a grip. You think
It's-
Breg will melt their own gold in the background?
it's a slight percentage change in one of the material choices they use to
Yes.
construct their gold. But yeah, I mean it's a beautiful color. I do love it's different. It's a single-handed master singer, but it's just more expensive. And it's beautiful in that I've actually had a chance to see this in the metal. It is very, very nice. I do strongly recommend everybody, if you have a chance, go and have a look at it before you
Don't buy it
chastise it
because it's
properly.
£47,000.
But yeah, it's a hit for me.
Yeah, cool. Ariel, maybe from you, I think.
Look, it is very pretty and it's very easy to read. Actually, reading a one-handed watch is surprisingly comfortable. And if you look at the careful detailing here, I mean, obviously, there's a lot of nice stuff. The Grand Faux enamel dial with the sort of secret text, as they call it. The hand, which is actually a new shape, which combines an old classic shape with sort of this new extension on there. That may not be new. I haven't seen it before. The movement is pretty, but it does feel a bit like a magic show where afterwards they're like $50,000 and you're supposed to get excited about it when it's like, whoa, 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 whoa. So I don't quite understand the pricing. It's difficult to validate that. I also don't know they're making such a big deal out of it. This looks like it could just be, I mean, is it called a subscription? Is it a standard piece? Is it limited? I don't even know.
I'm just noticing. So first of all, the price is as David would have us believe for most watch prices. This is literally 250 years of inflation from what the first one cost. They've literally mentioned up. I noticed. I don't know if you can see this very well in the image. There's obviously on the.
Oh, that's the secret.
Yeah, it's the phantom text.
There's this secret handshake is on the which completely ruins it.
Oh, you don't actually
to
see
be
it
honest.
Yeah, you can see it.
properly. You can see it. You can see it, but that is really, really bold. When you actually have it in the flesh, you hardly see it at all.
Yeah. This James is suggesting this is the Porsche model. No radio, no seats, no plastic windows. Twice the price. Yeah, that's about right. Okay. Yeah, subscription. I thought Swiss email grant. I thought it only had one L in it. This is turning into the grammar show. I thought when they put email on a watch,
It says emailed or enameled now, so it doesn't say enamel. It says enameled. That's why it's MIA, I think.
I thought when
MIA.
huh?
It's Grand Faux enameled, not Grand Faux enamel.
No, but on the watch face it says a melee.
Yeah. Yes.
Does that not normally have one L? Is that not spelt wrong? Like if
It's
No,
it's
if
a different word because in the same way how you use a different word for enamel and enameled when something has been
Okay, but
enameled, right?
There's no D in it. There's no D. Where's the D? I see
Because
the
it's
D.
French.
It's just French. You
There's
just
no
make
D's in French.
The letters can just be one thing and pronounced entirely differently. Okay.
No, really,
Okay,
like I don't think words end with the letter D in French.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Do they not have D's in French? Right.
At the end of the word, I
David,
don't think so.
did we get your vote? I can't remember.
Yeah, it was a maybe.
It was a maybe from David. Ripley, what's it from you?
I said it's a maybe. It's quite nice,
maybe.
but it's a $50,000 Meister Singer if you really want to strip it all back.
Can I just say how happy I am for Meistersinger? They seem to have basically owned the single hand watch. It's so great. Everyone
was-
thinks that dive watch is a Submariner, and now here is Meistersinger owning the one watch hand watch. That's amazing.
Whatever happened to
That's
Botta
great.
design? BOTTA? That's where I first learned about one-handed watches.
They probably went bankrupt.
Maybe. I don't know. But I'm just saying, like, this is an invitation for a budget brand to copy the beautiful font, copy the hands, write your brand with that same cool font that Brigade did. Like this is gonna look beautiful at $700.
And you don't even need to order a full handset. You just need an hour hand.
And you could have a super titanium case look like yellow gold. Citizen?
Oh dear. David just posted in the chat on YouTube. This, if I can get it to work. Yeah, there you go. Single-handed Bota.
So you think Breguet is just going to help a bunch of other brands sell single-handed watches? They're like, oh, lovely. Oh, wait a minute, too expensive. Oh, look, Bota has a bunch of designs. I'm just saying that they've been doing dozens and dozens of single-handed watches for a long time.
They still exist. I don't know if they
That
do
looks
or
like a scale, basically a bathroom scale.
not. Yes,
I think
bathroom
that's
scales.
inspiration. Yeah.
Right. Meister Singer should homage it, is what.
Yes, they should. Yes.
That's what I'm
Good
saying.
idea.
I want to see
Meister
this at
Singer, get on it.
$800. Okay, $700-$800. You got me.
Are we sure they
Well-
don't already make something that's like pretty much already this? It's like when Rolex released the
Mhm.
green bezel GMT and Victor was like, hold up, we did this last year. You know, this might be something where Meister Singer might already have this among their archives.
Yeah. Well, talking
It'll
of
take them after to
homaging,
design it, okay?
homaging the homage, Studio Underdog, the avocado and guacamole. The story here is something about that there were some Chinese knockoffs of this. I'm not sure, can you do a Chinese knockoff of a Chinese watch? I don't know, but anyway,
These look like
Uh,
Bitcoin memes.
I think the idea is that they've just produced the real version of the homage that was being produced in China. I'm not actually going to do hit miss maybe in these because it's the same story told. If you already like these, you already like these. If you don't, you really already don't. But that's a couple of things from Studio Underdog. What we are going to look at is this from Zenith, the Zenith Chronomaster original triple calendar in rose gold. I very, very, very much like this. Any experiences with triple calendars? Anyone ever been an owner? I was almost an owner, but I've got a
Hate
Bremen
it.
instead.
Illegible.
Don't like it? Really?
Hate it.
Why do you hate it so much? It's a
Um,
calendar done right. It's got
No, it's
everything's in a
not.
box. It's
No,
like
no, no, no.
Sunday, May the 8th, or 8th Sunday, May, as you would say in America or something. I don't know.
Maybe I should
May
hold
8th
back what I
Sunday.
say. This movement is annoying. It'll never be set right. It's ancient. It's archaic design. A bunch of fiddly little pushers. You have to update it constantly because it's not even like it's a complete calendar, right? It's not even like an annual calendar. So like you're constantly and you're like spending so much money for just a junk calendar mechanism, right? Like
Tell
it's
us
just,
what you think. Right, let's hit miss maybe. 1, 2, 3, go.
Tell us how you really feel.
Hit. I'm waiting for Ariel's miss.
it looks
There we
pretty.
go.
I will say it looks
does look
pretty.
pretty.
Do not buy it expecting to ever use the calendar, okay?
Kevin, you give it a hit.
Absolutely. I love this. I would love to see this in the metal. Absolutely. I love that shade of rose gold. Looks fascinating, and it looks very legible. Believe it or not, with the chronograph and the calendar. How much is it, by the way? That would obviously have an influence.
26,300.
You can buy a perpetual calendar or slews and slews of annual calendars. So get one of those Parmigiani annual calendars in gold for like the same amount of
True.
money. Please
It's
don't
true.
spend this much
You
money on
can-
that watch. This watch is worth like $2,000 to me.
But it's pretty. Hey,
Oh, it's
lovely.
pretty. This
It's
like
pretty.
this entire industry is full of pretty stuff. Oh my god, you want a
That's
pretty
true.
watch? Sure, you have like 10,000 options right now. How many watches are Chrono 24? Like 500,000?
Who knew that all you needed to do was put a triple calendar from Zenith of all brands in front of Ariel to get the bio rising?
No, because
When
I
the
first
man
saw this
finally
watch, I
snapped.
was handling it. I remember
right.
these
You saw it
junky
here
movements from a
first.
long time ago. I was like, they brought this piece of junk back. Why? They're that desperate?
Couldn't they
Yeah,
have left
nice
it in the
design,
loft?
not that movement. You buy that movement, you were again. It's like, oh, that's what Ariel was talking about.
Of all the right, okay, quick vote
It's
of
still
all
a
the
hit.
brands that you thought would break Ariel, what brand do you think it would have been, David?
If the
I mean,
what?
out of if any brand was going to break Ariel, obviously none of us expected it was going to be Zenith.
I'm not
My
Okay.
money was
It
on
could have been any
Chanel.
of them. That's the
My money
beautiful
was
thing.
always
It's
on- my
any.
money's always on
It's
Chanel.
unpredictable.
You read the tipping point. You know how it is.
Yeah.
So Ariel, I think we already know how you voted and what you feel about it. David,
Yeah, I said a maybe because it is pretty, but it is useless at the same time. So that's a big maybe. Because sorry, I said there's a lot of pretty things in this industry, but there's a lot of them that are useless, and yet we tolerate their uselessness at the same time just because they're pretty. So it's
Same
not
thing about
unique to this
people.
watch.
There's so many pretty people that are just absolutely useless, and yet we tolerate them for those same reasons.
Yeah, talk about the Met Gala to come full circle.
Yeah, Ariel's been super triggered. Yeah, to come full
Super triggered.
circle. No, ultra professional, super triggered.
You're on mute,
With a
Ariel.
Z
Anyway,
in there's with a Z
Okay.
there somewhere.
No one should have heard
Anyway.
that anyways.
Ripley, how'd you vote?
Said maybe. It's pretty. Triple calendars aren't my favorite complication, and when they have a moon phase, it almost guarantees that they won't be set. Because if you were to prod at the side of the case with the little push pieces, and you line up the 3 dates, the moon phase at this point almost certainly isn't where it needs to be. So, it's still pretty. It could be way worse priced. I mean, we just talked about a $48,000 one-handed watch. You have so many more hands on this watch. If we're talking about a hand to dollar ratio, this
Are you
kills
guys
it.
not realizing it's not even an annual calendar? You have to adjust it
Well, none of these are.
constantly throughout the year.
I know,
Yeah.
but an annual calendar
It's an
almost,
unreliable calendar.
but like an
It's
annual
an
calendar.
unreliable calendar for no good reason that we should have these days. There's so many more new calendar movements. This is like a 1970s design. They
Yes.
still made it throughout the 80s, I guess. It should have stayed back then. Like no one's
Yeah.
remaking those old Valjean manually wound ones. Be like, this is state of the art. We've moved on.
Okay.
The power reserve is like probably 40 hours, maybe 50.
It's junk. I don't care
All
how
right.
pretty it
This po-
is.
Is at this point that
It's
I
like
think it's
getting
at
one
this
of those like old like manual lawnmowers that like only works when you push it. Like we've gone past that.
point.
But if it's a
Well,
pretty lawnmower,
So it's just
some
lives in
lawnmowers
your,
are
in
pretty.
your office.
There are some pretty
like a-
lawnmowers out
It's like
there.
when people have a motorcycle in their living room and they don't touch it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what this
yeah.
watch is.
Okay, that's worth $27,000. You're right.
Okay, Ariel, this is the point at which I show you what you sent us in the WhatsApp group from Seagull, which is the $325,154. I'm not even sure what this is.
This is specific number too.
Triple
Not
grand
even the strap
complication.
fits between the lugs. Look at it. You can see the springboard.
Look at this. Look at the length of the hand.
and this isn't a Grand Seagull. Oh no, it is a Grand Seagull.
Well, it is only later on the
Complication.
watch itself. They
Yes.
hadn't figured that out yet.
It has the day and the date module from a $325 watch.
And
You know, this
Trump
is like quite popular. Is it a minute repeater though? Looks like it.
It may
Repeat
be
something.
Let's,
Maybe
let's
just
not
repeats
jump to
on you.
conclusions.
What's the case back? Show us the case back.
show you the case back. There
Okay.
we go. Case back.
Wow.
Oh, I
okay.
see some gongs there.
I see some
gongs.
terrible perlage as well.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's definitely some gongs there. Let's see if the strap fits any better. Nope.
Here's what's funny.
Uh.
It's so much more expensive than their standard tourbillons.
Is this in U.S. dollars or Chinese U.S.
Chinese
dollars?
No, that's in
Yeah.
US dollars.
It's already got the deep,
Imagine the tariff on top of this.
This is the yeah. This is straight off. Yeah, this is the dollar straight off the HP printer dollars.
I
Anyway,
desperately want
right.
to review this Seagull ground complication.
I think if you reached out to them, they'd send you one. To be fair, so hungry.
But if you look at the Grand Seagull page, they have such an insane
There's a
variety
page?
of stuff from a few thousand. There's a bunch in the 100,000 range. There's some that are there's some that are in the 200,000. It just seems
all right, so
all
this
over
is
the
right.
place.
They just have to
Okay.
sell one single one of these to fund the entire operation for an entire year. So that's good.
It's
If they
just-
sell
so-
two, that's the best year ever.
And we're
Similar
sure this
VAT
is U.S.
transparency.
dollars. This just seems shockingly expensive.
It is possible
that's
that
quite-
it's some
that's-
type of.
Well,
a
that's cool, that's
misprint.
nice.
I don't think it is.
I think it's a typo. I think there's a typo. It should be 3,000.
No, because that
not
would mean there's
300.
a lot of typos on the website. Go to Grand
But-
Seagull. Go to that page.
Grand Seagull. There we
There
go.
we go.
Okay.
None of them,
Ooh.
again, none of them
3,000
say Grand Seagull on the watch. Not one.
Yeah, but that's
390.
Well, that's a
Seagull
good
is
thing.
90, and this is at 392,000. No, there's that's 300,
Okay.
273,000. Yeah, who knew?
I want to see one of those with the two turbines or balance wheels and just one of them is working. There's a double turbine. Okay.
Double
Getting there.
turbine. We have
Does their
Okay.
Chinese calendar watch actually cost more than the Blanc Pan one?
Yep.
Hmm.
It's more authentic.
Well, there's that.
Yeah, there's quite a lot. It's the variety of prices from like 3,000 up to 300,000.
There's a
Grand
14-day return period here in if you buy anything online. So I might just buy one of those for 400K. Just return it.
But you know how like Seiko and some of the brands have the issue where they have like low priced watches and high priced watches and people aren't able to distinguish. Like Seagull's just like screw it. We're all throwing them together.
Yeah.
You know, let's
I do
people
like this
figure it out.
Strut
I
like
is
this
a
one.
nice looking watch. This is a nice
Yeah.
looking watch.
That is a nice looking watch.
How big is it? 70th anniversary. Is that just made up? Ooh.
Lots of 5-star reviews. Oh, online.
Oh, wow.
From Bilal? What's going?
No,
Are
they
these
just-
real?
No, they just take these from
Okay.
other websites and then add the stars.
Wait a minute,
We
there's
know
a-
all these
there's a
people.
review
None
here
of these
from
people
David
put
Redden.
stars on their reviews.
Do we think Bilal really reviewed this? Seagull Rat Chapante?
Well, he wrote about it. That doesn't mean he gave it stars. They're just
True.
putting 5 stars here. We know these people. None of
Wow.
these people award stars when they write about watches.
I will give it 3 stars. Let's see them add that. I will specifically give 3 stars, so they cannot say that I gave it 5.
Cool.
Marketing.
Right. That I think needs to count as our show for this week.
I love this comment
yeah.
In the chat. How
don't
is this
wanna-
more
you don't
fun
wanna
than going
talk
through
about
any
the,
Patek catalog?
The Grand Seagull 3-legged golden sunbird, which may or may not be a seagull.
Wait, 3-legged.
Oh, yes.
Talking?
That's
what are you
actually
talking
the name of the watch.
Where's this?
The
The three-legged
golden.
That's gonna get us
sunbird minute
demonetized.
repeater.
3-legged golden sunbird.
You're right. That is a euphemism
Seagull
if I've
is-
ever heard
is-
one.
Is there a cat in here somewhere? Where? Three
Well,
in one Chinese.
scroll down.
Is this a-
Scroll down. It's the
scroll
one with the
down, yeah.
crazy engraved dial. There. Oh, don't miss
Oh,
it.
3-legged
That's-
golden sunbird.
Yes.
He's got 3 legs, that's-
$810. That is.
Mhm.
That's a
Mhm,
nice
mhm.
house in Colorado.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a nice house anywhere, pretty
But
much.
you
It's
know,
most of Scotland.
you do need a 3-legged golden sunbird on your wrist.
Yeah.
Can someone unpack the Chinese lore of the 3-legged golden sunbird?
Wouldn't that ruin it though?
He knew what it was about. Yeah. Okay.
Isn't it better
Oh,
to come
maybe
up
they
with
are-
your own? Oh, there is
maybe they-
there is
maybe
Chinese
they
mythology, the
unpack it. It's
classic
price
of the
it, yeah.
mountains and the sea and the sunbird. I
Okay.
don't know
There you
this
go.
classic.
Fusion
A
of
fusion of
art
myth.
and- art and precision. Coming to a screen near you.
Every sentence has something in bold in it.
It's true, it does.
Oh, they've rendered his third leg. That wasn't what I was expecting it to look like.
Right. Okay.
I mean, is it one extra leg or one too few? That's what I'm
Unmatched
trying to figure out.
comfort and durability. I wonder how durable this minute repeater is in yellow gold. It's probably
is
not
the
that
extra
durable.
leg allowed to be a tripod, or is it missing the 4th leg?
It's a
This is what
monopod.
I
That's
want
our-
to
that's our-
know.
That's our new podcast, Missing the 4th Leg. Right, okay. Must,
Is it good or bad that it has 3 legs? I need
must be
some
hard to
feedback.
fly with that third leg. What do you do? What do you tuck it in? Is it like an airplane where 2 legs are on the wing and there's one just kind of up near the front that tucks under your chin?
It's highly unclear.
Well, this show went some
We all
places
need one of
today.
these.
This show went some places today. Well, thank you all very much for joining us on the main podcast. Do tune into a Blog to Watch Weekly Live if you want to hear some of
Yes.
the post-match chat. I suspect there will be some entertaining post-match chat, so it might be worth seeking out the original live recording. But other than that, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you all again next week. Goodbye.
Bye.
everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Okay, so if you were to have a third leg, where would you put it?
You mean another
What,
third leg, Rick?
If you had the choice, no,
I would
that
not put
third
it on a
leg's
seagull.
straight dragging the whole time. There we go. I think there are some people thinking about this a bit too much, but questions.
I wish we could
questions
actually
asked.
claim to ever make this stuff up. We can't.
Yeah, if only it was.
I like how they
making up.
claim it's a collector's dream. We're like, we know what you like, and it's that third leg.
Someone's dream. I don't.
I think, yeah. Surely somebody at the Met Gala is wearing that third leg. That's. Are you familiar? Well, we'll go here. This will definitely get us demonetized. Kevin, do you remember a certain Australian well-known comic who eventually went to prison and died for
that-
things, who had a third leg?
Was it Yahoo Serious?
Do you remember Jake? Do you remember Jake the
Jack-
Peg
Yes, I do.
with the extra
yes.
leg,
Yes, I remember
leg?
the song. Yeah.
Borisic has just caught up with that in the chat. This is the Rolf Harris tribute watch from Seagull. And if that doesn't get somebody a letter or cease and desist, I'm not quite sure what will.
Thankfully, I'm oblivious to all of this.
Yeah, you can go and check it. Go and Google Jake the
Nope.
Peg.
No,
YouTube,
absolutely not going to be Googling that.
I'm putting it in the chat after the show, so you can do it on your own accord, but you need to listen to Jake the Peg, and then you can go and read the backstory of who Rolf Harris is. But anyway, that's it. Enough of that before it gets out of control in the chat. Thank you all for joining. Thanks for taking part in the chat as well this morning. That's been great fun to all that joined in. I hope, well, we appreciate you being here, so I hope you appreciate being involved. So that's us. See you all later, folks. Goodbye.
Goodbye, all.
Everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening.
Bye, everyone.